Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. How are you this morning? I pray you're doing well. In this new year, a little bit of a mug up. I pray you are finding your some joy and some goodness in this morning. Hey, Donna. Good morning. Hi, Phyllis. If you're there, hope you're doing great. Hope that this new year is finding you well. Oh, it is. It's actually in many ways here in the city. I think the first day has really felt like winter. I know that feels funny. It's certainly been cold and it's been damp and all this sort of thing. But boy, and it's even been probably colder than it is today. But I feel like with the new year, it actually felt like I felt legitimately cold today, um, and so we which seems right for coming into January. So there's a joy in the kind of coming together of things that in our life and in our world. Oh, still working on recovery. Well, I hope that is real. Hey, good morning, John. Hope you're doing all right. Good morning, Vicky. Glad you're here. Doing well. Good morning. So, all right, everybody, we're going to get going this morning. It is the second day of January on 2024. Happy New Year, everybody. It is this Tuesday here at 11:11, and I am glad you're with us. I'm glad you're a part of this journey because it is truly a new journey that we depart on this first 11/11 of 2024. And so I want to talk about journeys a little bit. In fact, I know I've actually this last year was a part of a journey of pilgrimage, as many of you know. I did a section of the Camino de Santiago and had the chance to hike through 180 miles of Spain and all of its beauty and its challenges that came with that. But I wanted to talk today just about sharing a bit of the journey about and the way that we can really, I think, understand the this journey of this new year that's before us. Because here's the thing: today that we have this chance, we have this new year before us. We have this opportunity, even though it might seem arbitrary on the calendar, even though it might seem just like, oh, well, it's another day and the sun has come up and it looked a lot like, the 31st looked a lot like the first and all of these things. Yet there is a real movement. And I think we know it and we understand it that we're now in this place where from the 22nd of December, it was the darkest and the coldest and the longest of nights, and that. But the reality of that is then the 22nd, there's actually 3 days after it, the 23rd, 24th, 25th, where there's not an appreciable notice in the increase in sunlight. That actually the increase in sunlight doesn't happen. It only starts to be noticed after that. Now, you can make lots of parallels there if you were to think about Jesus's journey and Jesus's 3 days in the tomb and the way in which the very earth itself in Christmas spends 3 days in darkness and then begins to move towards light. And so now here we are in the days of Christmas starting to notice that there is a little more light, even though it's cold, even though this feels like, I think, as I said earlier, the dark the first day maybe really of winter. There is still a way in which the brightness of light is beginning to come, and and I just mentioned that because that's the natural rhythms of our northern hemisphere world are actually, I think, deeply ingrained in this calendar year of this beginning anew in January. And so my hope is and I'm not talking about making resolutions. I'm not talking about, getting a new gym membership. And I mean, if you can pull that off and do all that, that's great. That any opportunity to move towards health is a wonderful one. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about beginning to understand and to look at our year that's before us. This this unblemished page that stands before you. This unblemished little book of 364 now of opportunities to write something sweet, to have an experience of whatever it will be and whatever it is. I wanted to share with you what these are. This is what's called the Credencial del Peregrino, which is, so Peregrino is pilgrim, Credencial is credential. Yeah, so these are your pilgrim credentials that you go on the Camino with. And any pilgrim that has spent time on the Camino will in fact have to get a stamp. That the way that they know when you arrive in Santiago whether or not you have actually been on the Camino for a requisite amount of time to qualify for a Compostela, to qualify for a certificate, is the fact that you get a stamp. You get a stamp at the beginning of the day and you get a stamp at the end of the day, and that the stamps are dated. And so you go from this place to that place. Now you can get as many stamps as you want along the way, and that as the journey unfolds, there is this way in which the stamps continue to unfold as well. And every one of those stamps is a story. Every one of those stamps is a place. Every one of these stamps is an experience of maybe it was a spot we stopped and got a coffee. Maybe it was a spot that we desperately needed some water. Maybe it was a spot that was just particularly beautiful, or maybe it was a place that we stayed overnight and we were renewed and refreshed. Every one of these stamps has a story in it. Every one of these stops is a part of the journey. Friends, the reality of this year that's laid before us is that we know its beginning and we know its end. We know that it begins on the 1st of January, and we know that it ends on the 31st of December 2024. And here we are on the 2nd, but we have 364 opportunities to stamp our credentials, to intentionally stand in a place and receive something of God's grace in it, to receive something of an experience or a story or a joy or a wonder in it. That are the boundaries are set. The boundaries are set. The boundaries of the 1st and the 31st are set. And I would suggest to you, as I heard on a podcast recently, that this is also true of our life. That the pages of the book of life, just as it states in Revelation, are written down for us. They are already tended to. That our birth date and our end date, the date that we will return back to the Lord, they are in God's hands. You didn't do anything to get born into this world, and when you leave this world, it will be largely as a measure of when God calls you home. But all the days in between, just like this year, from the 1st of January to the 31st of December, all the times in between are ours to fill. They're ours to receive stamps. They're ours to have adventures. They are ours to create stories. They are ours to offer to others aid and comfort and care along the road. They are ours to walk with another pilgrim and encourage them that they might, as their feet hurt and as they sit in despair, that we have our pilgrim journey to walk out these next 365 days. The beginning is set. It is already past yesterday. The end is set. It is on the calendar 12 months from now. What stamps will you put upon your heart? What journeys will you take? What wonders will you adventure into? What imprints will you permit the world to leave upon you? And what will you not allow to subjugate? It's just as I look down at these, there are stories that come flooding in. This little one over here with the embossment was actually at a t-shirt shop downtown. And the guy is he's a pilgrim himself, but he also had lost a leg, and he has his staff and that's him. And just a riot. We spent an enormous amount of time there just chatting with the guy and talking about kind of his whole journey, kind of what happened to his leg and what happened to him, and the wonder of his incredible willingness to just kind of throw his whole story out in front of anybody that came by, and particularly, and maybe it wasn't anybody that came by, maybe it was simply pilgrims, but however it worked, an incredible moment of joy in this kind of this fairly big town that we were walking through, which was kind of a little bit of kind of concrete jungle kind of experience. So so many opportunities to encounter new folks, new experiences, new libations, new joys along the road. It is my hope that in the days ahead, in these 364 days that you have before you, in this set world as it is, this tableau, these empty pages in your book, this canvas that stands before you that yet has no paint on it, what will you offer it? What will you give it? What brilliant colors, what wonderful stories, what will you write upon it, and what stamps will you allow upon your being and your heart? Because, friends, the beginning is set, and the end is set. For us, there is but the living of our days and the walking out of our paths. And I am overjoyed to be on the journey with all of you, here in our little church in beautiful Fall River, here in our little assembly, our digital assembly, as we are assembled in life and in life in abundance, as we care for each other. If you're interested about and if you're interested in the end of the month, I'm going to be doing we're going to be having one of our Wednesday gatherings, kind of our all church family nights. So we'll have a little dinner, and I'll be doing a program about my time on the Camino. So I kind of want to start the year with it, just as our chance to. It's taken me a few months to make a little sense of what is worth sharing and what we might lift up, what it's been, what it's been, and what it's becoming for me. And I think maybe as we depart today, that might be the thing to think about 2023. Maybe it'll take a little time for you to decide what this last year was. Because, as Shakespeare said, the past is prelude. You have this prelude of this year that has gone by. It may be prelude. There may be things that are hanging over and hanging into this next year. But that does not mean there is not another chapter to write. That does not mean there aren't adventures to have. There doesn't mean there isn't the stamps to be made upon your credentials. That doesn't mean there isn't beauty to be had and appreciated in this world. That doesn't mean there aren't friends to be made. That doesn't mean there aren't people to be cared for. That doesn't mean there aren't wonders to appreciate. Because this grand gift of where the beginning is set and the end is set, but it is ours to do with and to walk out what we will with our days. Make them rich and beautiful, friends, in this 2024. Peace and grace to you all, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with another 1111.